Shalom, call halal, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Akapadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth, and shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, so this lesson is quickly going to go into the time that we're in, okay? These last days, the last of the last, and that you be circumspect, all right? Pay attention then to how you walk. All right, so this is Ephesians 5, and let's read 15 first. And we'll come back here. And then we'll watch this Pedro video. So, see then that you walk circumspectly. Circum meaning round, spectly means to look. All right? Look in all directions. Be aware of your surroundings. Okay? Be careful how you walk. Not as fools, but as wise. And here it is, redeeming the time because the days are evil. We are in that evil time. All right, now continue. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. All right. And be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. And this came out at in the camp, I believe it was on Sunday, and here we are again. All right, because I want to go here. Let's look at this. Ephesians 5:16 in the King James, redeeming the time, right? This time that we're in right now, you have to prepare yourself, if you will, for the days that are coming, because the days are evil. Let's read it up here in NIV. Making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. If you don't wrap your head around having to endure, all right, making it through Jacob's trouble, you're not going to make it through. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. Making the best use of the time because the days are. How do you make the best use of your time? Well, I would suggest you meditate on how nothing is going to faze you in the face of mass death. Okay? Because that's what it's going to take to traverse, if you will, through the valley of the shadow of death. The reason why they call it that. All right? The days are evil. Let's watch this. Okay, this is Pedro V. Today. It says military and staged nuclear events happening around the world. And we're not going to watch the whole video, but we're just going to, everything is happening at the same time. A perfect storm, if you will, of events. All right, leading into Jacob's trouble, the beginning of sorrows. So let's watch this. We'll watch a little bit of it, and you can see how everything is closing in, right? And it's about to get real bad, right? And a lot of it is staged, all right? So let no man deceive you. Be circumspect. All these things, all that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability is going to keep you upright in these last days.
Hey guys, Pedro V here. I wanted to quickly go over these topics about the militaries around the world and what is going on in that aspect of things. We've heard about China and them canceling 9,000 flights. People were saying there was a supposed military coup and that the President Xi was on house arrest or something.
Okay, so let me quickly explain, all right? Whatever happened in China, first of all, in the American populace, it was kept a secret, right? something did happen, and they have elements of proof, but something happened in China going to what? All of this spells World War III. All of the events that you see, it says military and staged nuclear events happening around the world. All right? Military, world. Okay? World War III. Okay? Nuclear. All right? Read between the lines. World War III is going on. You just don't know it yet. Every little thing that happens, all right? Everybody has a weather control machine, not just the HARP. Everybody has their own. So when you see an earthquake happen in Fukushima that takes out a certain power generator, you're watching asymmetric warfare happen. Now, things are speeding up so fast, you have to consider all things are part of World War III.
As social media was buzzing about what's going on in China, the global focus is on the silence of the Chinese media through all of it. The world is asking one question: what's going on in China?
That video of military convoys, some putting it at 80 kilometers. None of us will ever be able to tell you the truth about what really happened. But what we can tell you, real time, is this. Take a look at this. This is suspicious. And if my video journalist can just, show this. Right? This is a flight. This is a live flight activity, Shawan. This is a live flight activity. Look at the flight activity over India.
Now, whatever they're saying right here, you got to read between the lines. It says, mystery over China, military. What is that? Military. What is that? These are the people who fight wars, as in World War III. Okay? They're speaking in war terms. A coup. What is a coup? All right? And it goes to the top of China's military. So all of these things, when you consider these things and you put them into the context of World War III going on in your face and you don't know it, all right, there's a bigger picture.
Right? That's how many planes are in the skies, in the airspace. Look at the flight activity over China. Over 10,000 flights, Shawan, have been cancelled. This is China. All of this is China, right? All of this is China. All of this. And there is no aerial activity over China, not much. A few flights, handful of flights, but nothing outside of that.
Now, they also put articles out saying that wasn't true. However, them canceling 9,000 flights were true.
That goes into wars and rumors of wars. Rumors of what? World War III.
Well, folks, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, there are unconfirmed reports saying that Chinese President Xi has been placed on house arrest amid a potential coup happening in the highest level.
It says coup. Rumors of war.
CCP. We want to remind you that many are saying this is not the case. Check out this tweet from Gordon Chang. The lack of the news from China over the last few hours suggests coup rumors are untrue. But whatever happened inside the Chinese military during the last 3 days, evidently something unusual occurred. Tells us there is a turbulence inside the senior CCP leader.
And there are other...
Think World War III. Okay? Just because it doesn't look like what was going on in World War II, those old black and white films, doesn't mean that, hey, they didn't have computers like they do today. So what kind of war is World War III going to be? I'll tell you this, it's going to end with nuclear fire. We know that for sure. And that didn't happen in World War II.
Things going on that aren't fully being answered and why it happened.
Now, on Sunday, a fire broke out at the world's biggest produce market in Paris. Footage from the scene shows a tower of dark smoke billowing high into the air in the French capital. The massive produce market, it's a major source of fresh food for the Paris and surrounding regions.
Now, how do you take down somebody's country? all right? You attack its infrastructure first. Make sure that they can't eat. You shut down their power, their energy, okay, so that they don't have any resources to fight back. This looks like somebody sent a cruise missile into this food factory. How many food factories are blowing up all over the world right now? Okay? If the world is at war, you have to consider these things.
For Paris and surrounding regions, as per local reports, no casualties have been reported here. There have been no reports of injuries either. French authorities, however, have launched a probe into the incident as the cause of the fire remains unknown.
We are seeing things going on in Iran, protests.
As deadly protests continue really all over the country. He accused the United States of trying to weaken Iran's stability by supporting protesters' rights.
Weaken their stability. What is America famous for? Destabilizing nations. You send in some money, you get some protesters, if you will, people that live in that nation. You pay them to overthrow the government and install your own puppet regime so that you'll have influence in that region. It's been done in Iran before by America, going back to the 1950s and many times. Okay, so what's going on right now? Okay, what happened in Ukraine in 2013? They destabilized the government. They overthrew the government, staged a coup. What they were just saying is happening in China. Then they install a puppet regime. That's where this guy Zelensky came from. You know, the actor, the comedian.
This demonstration yesterday in northeastern Iran, people chanted, "Fight us, we are all united." Nationwide, demonstrations breaking out after the so-called morality police there arrested a 22-year-old woman who later died in their custody. Her name, Mahsa Amini. Police say they arrested her because all of her hair was not covered. Iranian officials say she died of a heart attack, but her family says that is not true.
Is this an operation? Okay. Did somebody stage that whole operation? We're going to send our operator, this girl, we're going to send her in there with no covering on her hair. We're going to start this whole situation.
We are seeing things going on in Germany. Then, of course, Ukraine and Russia.
There have been 3 incidents of the leakage from gas pipes, one from the Nord Stream 2 and 2 from the Nord Stream 1. And it's a very rare thing that there would happen such a leakage. And
look at this guy. He's in the military. When you see this image right here, you got to think. You see this image, where is it? So lucky. This image. When you see this, see these crosshairs? Right? You got to think World War III. What does World War III look like? Okay. Do you know? Or can you only imagine? When you see things like this being reported, your first thought should be World War III. Okay? That you're in the middle of it no matter where. It says World War. All right? It's not, what's going on over in the Ukraine is part of World War III. Okay? Now, what is Vladimir Putin talking about? Well, I'm finna start busting nukes where? At Babylon the Great. It's called World War.
Leakage from gas pipes, one from the Nord Stream 2 and two from the Nord Stream 1. And it's a very rare thing that there would happen such a leakage. And the fact that we have three of them in 24 hours, that's extremely unusual. So, I mean, it's definitely something that begs the question, is this actually sabotage or some kind of hybrid warfare that we are witnessing here? Because it's very, very unusual.
He said, if you didn't understand, he said, some kind of hybrid warfare. Back it up so you can, these are very important words.
I mean, it's definitely something that begs the question, is this actually sabotage or some kind of hybrid warfare that we are witnessing here? Because it's very, very unusual. And also, I will point out that it happens on the same day that another pipeline, the Baltic Pipe, is opening and running through the same area. It's providing gas from Norway to Poland. So that's actually one of the tools that Europe is planning on using to sort of reduce the independence on Russian gas. If this is sabotage and it is an example of what we call hybrid warfare, then the difficulty is always the attribution, right? It's very hard to pinpoint exactly who did it and why. And we always get a myriad of different explanations circulating on social media and things like that. So, but I think if we look at who would actually benefit from disturbances, more chaos on the gas market in Europe, I think there's basically only one actor right now that actually benefits from more uncertainty, and that is Russia. Russia that is using
Not true. Babylon the Great.
Gas exactly as a pressure point to sort of put pressure on Europe to essentially give up the support for Ukraine in the Ukraine war.
What is really going on with Putin? Now, it wasn't long ago where there was an assassination attempt on him.
So I think some of the comments that he's not well, or that actually surely somebody's going to assassinate him or take him out, I think they're wishful thinking. For us as military professionals, we see a relatively stable regime in Russia. We see that President Putin has been able to quash any opposition.
What happened to Muammar Gaddafi? What happened to Saddam Hussein? Okay, even though they made it appear that it was the Iraqis that took him out, who actually took him out? Okay, who took out Coolio? Well, the same people he was working with. Who took out Saddam? Well, Saddam worked with the United States for years and years and years during the 1980s. Okay. It's warfare.
And then we see a hierarchy that is invested in President Putin. And so nobody at the top has got the motivation to challenge President Putin. And that is bleak. That's why the challenge of Russia is going to endure way beyond 2022 and 2023 and 2024. This is going to go on for a long time.
And what are you talking about in terms of longer term? Decades?
So potentially decades in terms of Russia as a threat. We were clear about that in our big review last year. I think it's now being amplified by Russia's invasion into Ukraine.
Do you hear the language? This guy is some sort of military. They're speaking about war tact going into the future. Really, they're talking about World War III. Because when you're talking about Vladimir Putin, who's got the most nuclear bombs?
And then you're seeing the response. You're seeing the response by the international community, whether that's the G7. You're seeing the military response with the NATO summit.
Military response. See this? This is all World War III.
G7, you're seeing the military response with the NATO summit.
They're also talking about people fleeing the country because of the draft and mobilization.
Suddenly, an exodus across Russia's borders.
Because they're about to put you on the fucking battlefield. Okay, that's what all of this shit is about. All right. What is this? You see the uniforms? This is about World War III. Oh, that's the Queen. Da, 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 da. Hey, it's time to go to war.
And troops and so much more things going on.
Также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у стран НАТО. И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф.
There was even a headline saying, "Will Russia nuke London?" Perhaps London is falling has more subliminal meaning than just a movie. But there's also talks about the currency, that the pound is losing value, and much more talks of an economic collapse there.
Now, the British pound has fallen to its lowest level ever against the US dollar. In early Asia trade, sterling fell to $1.03 before regaining some ground to around $1.06 as the...
Now, do you know what World War III is about? World War III is designed by the super elite to do what? To bring in the NWO. Okay, and they don't care how many people they got to kill to do that. All right, so we'll go ahead and end it right here. Let me get a precept on the way out. All right, you got to know what you're seeing. Let me go back to Ephesians real quick. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. Pay careful attention then to how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil, right? Understand that, hey, you got to make it through this dark time. What's coming to Babylon? What's coming to America as a result of World War III? Well, when there's a world war, what do you got to do? You have to control the population. What happened to the Japanese during World War II right here in Babylon? What did they do? They put them in concentration camps. Well, if it's world war and we got enemies, first of all, everybody's here. Moab is here. Ammon is here. Everybody's here. Ishmael is here. Who are we? Are we going to put all these people in concentration in different concentration camps? You have to control the population. So what's coming to America as a result of World War III? Whatever it is, pay careful attention then to how you walk. Not as unwise, but as wise. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. And we can end it right there. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect are edified. Be circumspect. Okay, let's get that real quick. Be very careful. See then that you walk circumspectly. All right, with that, we hope the elect are edified with you brothers and few sisters. Shalom.